What's something boys can never tell their girlfriends? 14 years ago. I woke up before you on a weekend. I was watching an episode of Batman the Animated Series. You woke up halfway through the episode and picked up the remote and changed the channel. You knew I was watching and I never got to see the end of the episode. I'm still salty about it. Damn, this is fucked up. I've never in all the years of my short existence seen such treachery. Baby, I'm so glad you're ill and I didn't forget to take my schizophrenia medication today. My BF sometimes says he'll never take those meds. I don't want you to disappear, LMAO. LMAO sounds like a keeper. Who is this LMAO you keep talking about? We know you're working with the Chinese. I want my hoodie back. When me and my ex split up, she put my hoodie she always wore around the house into my bag when I was moving out. It somehow made it worse that she went out of her way to make sure she didn't keep the hoodie. My ex kept my favorite jacket. It's been 3 years and I still miss that jacket. My ex kept my childhood stuffed monkey. That's fucked. We are concerned about you just up and leaving us. Big oof. This is me. I've had it happen once. No warning or anything. The day before we were spooning in bed, talking like normal about everything. The next day she just moved out, left me and the dog she insisted we buy. I didn't really want the responsibility without so much as a penny. I had spent a small fortune paying off her student loan and all our bills a few days prior. I had an insane payout because of a large bonus thanks to my effort at work. And the deal was that we'd use her salary to buy food and live our lives that month. 5 years relationship. And she just left me without so much as an explanation. Left me without money to buy food for me or the dog. It was so unexpected. Her friends called me and asked if I had cheated or what I had done wrong. None of them knew why she left either. It's been 10 years and I still don't know. And I still don't fully trust it won't happen again with my current girlfriend. The dog is still with me, BTW. A beautiful but old Rottweiler. 13 years old this September, which I spoil rotten. Oh hi fellow Hairbreak survivor. I had mine insist she wanted to work things out with me and loved having me around after telling me she didn't think she had romantic feelings for me anymore. Fell for it. Bought her a brand new laptop for a new job and going back to school she wanted. Decided to have a cocaine bingo with her bartender co-worker all weekend instead. I actually watched this episode without you when you passed out last night. Bro. Quiet. She might hear you. I have to make sure to restart the episode after I watch it and let it play for a few seconds and then pause it there so they don't realize I've watched the entire thing without them. My wife did a whole song and dance about how excited she was to watch the season finale of Venture Brothers with me. I put it on and it's literally on the credits scroll. Lol. Where I buried me treasure? In me booty? No. In Djibouti. That's not a very big country. You've really narrowed my search. It's one of the few countries that looks like its name. Don't call her Tony Pizza. Then why she look like Tony Pizza? That when I think in bed it isn't about her when I'm silent. I'm trying to solve a riddle from a game or question something on a TV show. In the early seasons of Sex and the City, characters used to break the fourth wall, speaking directly to the camera. But then they stopped doing that. Did they stop noticing the camera crews following them around? Question mark. It was actually filmed in reverse, and they only noticed the camera crew towards the end of the run. They have been walking backwards the whole time. Holy cow. That pigs are much bigger than you expect. One of them was so big you could ride it. Just grab a saddle and a carrot on a stick. That you're actually 3 toddlers in a trench coat. Whenever my GF starts to catch on I just make up an excuse to go do a business. No one expects business in a trench coat. Business wise, this seems like appropriate business. Times are tough at the business factory. Who would win? Batman vs Polar Bear. She wouldn't believe me if I told her. Wait though, who would win? I'm seriously considering. Depends on the circumstances. Has Batman prepared for more than a minute? He wins. Does he have bear repellent on his belt? He escapes. Did the bear get the jump on him? Brutal death. Is he unarmed and in the wild? Brutal death. Gotham City or North Pole? If the villains fight as well. Got 'em wins no problem. The real answer to the question, what are you thinking about when he dozed off again? My then girlfriend used to ask all the time. She was super self-critical and was convinced I spent my time thinking about other girls. One day I got so fed up that I told her what I was actually thinking about, how great a rock band would be if it was made up entirely of apes. My now wife now just asks back quote monkeys playing drums again. My now wife now just asks back quote monkeys playing drums again. This ending put a smile on my face. Glad she's made peace with sharing you with a touring monkey band. Hey we're the monkeys. And people say we monkey around. But we are too busy singing to put anybody down. How much I actually spend on my hobbies. Edit. It's not like I lie. I just never disclose prices. To the grave. Hell I don't even want to know. Oh look. Another source book to help me DM. I'll just put it on the shelf with all my other books. Right. There. Next to the giant pile of unpainted minis. Okay. But minis have no business costing that much. Running one campaign could easily be several $100s if you use exclusively official material. You aren't wrong. So you buy a third printer and boom, now you have a huge pile of cheaper unpainted minis and a third printer. The extent to which I spend money on movies, games, books, comics, etc. But honestly, we have mutually assured destruction type deal going where she also doesn't have to tell me how much all the plants and vintage clothes cost. Edit. Huh. This got a lot bigger overnight. Just to address some things, there's a level of playful overstatement here for comedic effect. We are not spending catastrophic amounts of money on our hobbies. But you know how it is. Sometimes you'd be weirded out about spending for a hobbies you don't share. I'd also note that we do save. We both have solid jobs. And we are financially stable overall. Thanks for the concern. Though. I need space from her sometimes. And it's not because she did something wrong. Edit. I'm not currently in a relationship. This was me to my previous partners. I've grown since then and now know better. I appreciate all of the advice though. Thank you all. I was able to finally tell my now wife this several years back. I'm a chef and I explained to her that I'm in a constant state of conversation with no less than 25 people for 12 to 14 hours. Sometimes I just need the time to not interact with anyone at all. Being able to explain why I needed this personal time, as we both call it, and use it, helped her understand better. I hope you can find a healthy, productive way to explain to your so about why you need this time. Frame it as time to yourself, not time away from her, if you are able to. I guess I'm lucky. My so and I would often just be in the same room. I doing something, and she doing something different, and we both consider this quality time together. My fiancé and I do this as well. She calls it together but separate lol. The guy she tells us not to worry about really worries us. Got bit twice by this. Who's got you smiling so much from a text? Just a friend. MMHM. A week later I find her sending him nudes. Then she breaks off our engagement. Can I marry you, but still have sex with other men? I'm not sure I want just one for the rest of my life. By IEE. Holy shit. Just a fucking nightmare. Imagine being married for 10 to 20 years and suddenly your so asks you if he/she can have sex with other people. What do you do? You're already doomed. No matter what you answer. Hey, this actually happened to me about 2 years ago after 15 years of marriage. I said no. She said I didn't get a vote. Our divorce should be wrapped up on Friday. Edit. Only since this actually got an upvote or two, I should note that I don't hate her at all. We still talk regularly and even occasionally hang out. We just grew apart over time. And in the end we were no longer the right people for each other. One way or another she was feeling unfulfilled. And I knew I wouldn't be happy being part of the life she wanted to live. After the incident I mentioned, we had a really difficult conversation with a lot of tears, where I said we should separate for a while. And then later we had another difficult conversation full of tears, where I said it was time to get the divorce. Everything has been extremely amicable. Edit 2. For what it's worth, I'm super comfortable and willing to talk about pretty much any aspect of this whole thing. So if folks have questions, ask away lol. In my case, what you're thinking about, my wife asks me all the time, and I've been daydreaming about what it would be like if I owned that McDonald's across the street and then after falling in a vat of radioactive fry grease was able to turn into Ronald at night. I would fight crime, but only if it was food related, and all of my weapons would be burger condiment themed. Then I'm thinking about aerodynamics of pickles or shurikens and what process I would use to make them sturdy and sharp enough to be lethal. It's a lot easier to just say spacing out than see her cute face raise an eyebrow in concern. If I'm working too much again, you'd be trained in fast food. I think you meant kung food. The arts get confused frequently. I could be wrong. Technically, you're not wrong. Kung Fu is the name of the rival Burger King school of thought, culminating in the grand franchise tournament to see who can claim right to the corner of the block, a la Karate Kid, in theater summer 2025. Don't call her a ketchup packet when she's on her period. Yeah, that's degrading and immature. Call her Bleedy Gonzales instead. My partner's Russian. I ask if the Soviets are back in town. It never goes well. And I never learn my lesson. That's pretty funny, but I can see her not liking it. Say Krasnaya Armia Vernatsia and report back. Which ones of her friends you think are hot? Don't care what she says, fellas. It's a trap. Or which one of her best friends you can't stand? I'd easily fall for this one. Well, I wasn't going to say anything, but since you asked, Stassi, she's completely unbearable. I can only assume you're asking because you've had an epiphany and feel the same way. Apostrophe. My wife's name is Stassi. The funny thing is that I already knew before marriage not to push against friends, even when it seems like they're fighting and don't want to stay friends at all, unless the friends are so fucked up that they cause literal life problems for you or you're so they are tolerable. You ever get Stassi's mom jokes? How many times per week they wanked in spite of having a girlfriend? I asked my boyfriend this, and it was less than I expected. Still wonder if he undershot it in case I got upset. He did. And he did it for you. That golf courses have this thing called pace of play, so 18 holes don't take 9 hours. How does this work? You just have to keep moving at a decent pace so that other people can also go through and enjoy the course. Basically, in an 18-hole course you should try to be done around 4-5 hours, so about 15 minutes per hole. Just a general rule of thumb to be courteous. I only played golf once and we had no idea what we were doing. Did 9 holes in like 4 hours. But whenever we saw a group coming up behind us, we would just let them ahead of us. Is that a thing? Calm down. I've got a lot of experience saying this to my wife. So far the stats are: great idea, 0%, bad idea, 100%. I'll update these when there's a change. The only thing a good guy said to me that he shouldn't have is we went out to a nice Valentine's Day dinner at my favorite Indian restaurant, got all dressed up, which was not our usual style as poorish retail workers were having a wonderful time. And he said yeah, his ex and I came here for Valentine's Day once. Totally ruined the moment for me, lol. I thought it was so special, but he'd been there, done that. Why would he say that? Right? He was a great guy. Just don't think he thought that one through, lol. My ex from a long-term relationship broke down, literally crying, on the car ride back from a vacation about how she had a similar vacation to the same place with her ex. We were 2 years in, and she had half planned the trip. Deflated is a good way to summarize the feeling, lol. Oh man. That's seriously rough. I'm so sorry you went through that. Especially after a couple of years together. Crazily enough, something very similar to your situation happened with my mom and her ex. They'd been dating for about a year, and he made plans for them to vacation at his favorite spot in Florida. While at the airport, he called his ex, whom he'd embarked on this exact vacation with before, and was in tears while telling her he couldn't believe he was making the trip to their place in FL without her, right in front of my mom. She was severely tempted to leave the airport right then and there after dumping him, but for some unfathomable reason she didn't, and she even stuck around for the most toxic relationship of her life for another 6 years. I'm glad it sounds like you bailed a lot sooner in your own situation. Hope you're in a much better place now. What I'm really thinking about, since you would never believe me if I said I was thinking about how bike tires are made. I said B-I-E-I-E-I-E-I-E-I-E-I-E-I-E-I-E-I-E-I-E-I-E. Man of culture. My fav comment here. I just know this is going to be on a TikTok with Minecraft gameplay or Subway Surfers in the background with shitty lofi music. They'll put this comment in for the meta joke of it and use it to farm comments about how funny it was to put this one in there. Same with this one. And then someone will reply they're self-aware. And then everyone clapped. How much money they've lost in the stock market. Most of the answers are true, but this one hits the truest. My money, my problem. So you don't need to know that you wouldn't date her if she was a worm. Depends. If we started dating and then she became a worm, I'd get a little habitat thing to take care of her. I'd still love her. If I met her as a worm, then no, I couldn't start to develop any feelings. You've been asked, haven't you? I have. It was closely followed by would you still love me if I was a jar of dirt? I've got a jar of dirt, I've got a jar of dirt, and guess what's inside it? About the voices. We aren't supposed to tell anyone about them. Bro, don't talk about the voices. For God's sake guys. Stop. Remember what happened last time. Yep, poor Kevin. RIP. How much of a dork I am. Like I don't think my girlfriend knows the fullest extent to how much I love the concept of Power Rangers and other Super Sentai mythos.